starts now.
He woke up and tweeted, and tweeted, and tweeted. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump posted 7 messages in less than an hour after the first one seemed to target his own attorney general he referred to yesterday as beleaguered. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, speculation is swirling that President Trump could fire Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The AP reports the president had spoken to advisors about doing just that. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says it's possible, telling Fox and Friends the president remains upset over Sessions' recusal from the Russia probe.
I think that's a decision that if the president wants to make, he certainly will.
The president went after Sessions on Twitter, saying he's taken a very weak position on what he called Hillary Clinton crimes, asking where are emails in DNC server. Dave.
Rachel, the president also tweeted, this is a big day for health care. The Senate will vote on whether to start debate on a bill open to amendments replacing Obamacare.
Conservatives are getting squat in this bill. Conservatives are getting nothing. There's no promise of a clean repeal vote.
So Rand Paul is a no, but John McCain will be a yes. The Republican will return to vote for the first time since his brain cancer diagnosis. All Democrats oppose the GOP option, saying millions would lose insurance. The president again called the Russia probe a witch hunt and praised his son-in-law, an advisor, writing Jared Kushner did very well, proving there was no collusion. Kushner will privately go before the House Intelligence Committee the day after a trip to the Senate.
The record and documents I have voluntarily provided will show that all of my actions were proper.
But Democratic Senator Ron Wyden calls his statements lawyerly.
It was incomplete. And I think it is extremely important that this witness testify in public.
Israel is removing the metal detectors it put at a holy shrine in Jerusalem after Muslim protests. But a senior Islamic cleric says Muslims should stay away. Israel will install other advanced security in response to a Palestinian attack at that shrine that killed 2 Israeli police officers. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%. APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Another night of wicked storms, but the cleanup and flooding is not bad this morning. In Lakewood, neighbors heard a huge boom and looked out to see a house on fire. A lightning bolt blew a hole in the roof. Fire crews did get it out quickly. The fire that's burned 3,500 acres in Wharton State Forest is out, but was started by lightning. State officials say several trees were struck last Wednesday night. 2 anti-corruption programs in New Jersey, one that offers cash rewards, the other that lets whistleblowers avoid prosecution, were going to end next week. But they've been extended till the middle of November because they've generated so many leads. Attorney General Perino says the most effective way to crack down on public corruption is by getting you involved.
And we're even more effective and successful when our communities are incentivized to come forward and help us make cases.
The state is keeping a corrupt public official hotline open. The office of Senator John McCain says the ailing Arizona Republican will return to the Senate today for an important health care vote. McCain's been diagnosed with brain cancer and is considering treatment options. I'm Eric Scott. This is the Town Square News Network.
Temperatures will end up about 5 to 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. Mid to upper 70s today, mostly cloudy skies with a stray shower possible at any time. Quiet and comfortable tonight, lower to mid 60s, partly sunny tomorrow, and pleasant upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Weather made possible by Jersey Fresh Peaches, summer's favorite fruit. Sweet and juicy, loaded with nutrients and only 60 calories. Jersey Fresh Peaches, the best. Check jerseypeaches.com where to buy. Like them on Facebook at New Jersey Peaches and tweet at NJ Peaches. I'm meteorologist Dan Zero.
From Harry Hurley Way in the world's playground to the broadcast pioneers of Philadelphia Hall of Fame.
I want to congratulate my friend, Harry Hurley.
You're about to find out why Harry Hurley has been named to the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important talk show hosts in the nation.
I don't know, call it greatness.
From the studios of Town Square Media in Northfield, it's Hurley in the Morning on WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
Chuck Malamut will join us in just a moment. For all of your financial planning needs, turn to the official financial advisor to the Hurley in the Morning program for 26 years. Chuck Malamut, managing director of his team, the Malamut Group, at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. Call 609-383-2010 for all of your financial planning needs. And this program is brought to you each week at this hour, on this day, presented by Chuck Malamut, a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. The information, views, and opinions expressed on this broadcast are those of Chuck. They do not necessarily reflect those of Morgan Stanley or its affiliates. They are current as of the date of this broadcast, subject to change without notice. Neither the information provided nor any opinion expressed herein constitutes a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, member, SIPC. Chuck is going to join us in just a moment. Kirk, had we had an extra minute, and we do, because Chuck is literally going to be here in the next minute to 2 minutes, you wanted to talk about America, our energy independence, and what all this means right now. And we're confounding, just as you and I talked about for many years, we're confounding the world right now because they don't quite know what to do with America's newfound energy independence.
Right, and the whole strategy of Saudi Arabia of continuing to pump oil beyond what the OPEC limits were was to lower the price of oil and put the shale producers in America and the alternative drilling producers out of business. And what's happened is the shale producers and those that look for the type of oil discoveries, natural gas, using new techniques, they've lowered their cost of doing business. And therefore, we continue to bring new production online because they've lowered their costs, thus further confounding OPEC and the non-OPEC producers. I've seen in the last week there was a meeting in St. Petersburg, Russia, of non-OPEC energy producers to try to deal with American shale. And they're absolutely unsuccessful because we just keep bringing new energy onto the marketplace, and we are on our way to energy independence. We are exporting energy for the first time in years.
Yes.
It was against the law.
Poland
the
and
law went
elsewhere.
away. And now, this liquid natural gas, we can take our excess natural gas production, liquefy it, send it to other countries, reduce their dependence on Russia. So it's all working in our favor, and it's something I've advocated. We needed to turn the energy sector loose. And thankfully, with the Obama administration out of there, the energy sector will be the economic juggernaut of the world.
Glad we got to review that, Kirk.
I appreciate it.
Good to be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Malamut, the official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program. And do as I do, not as I say, but do as I do. Select Chuck and his team, the Malamut Group. Chuck is the managing director at their Morgan Stanley, Northfield, New Jersey office, 609-383-2010 for all of your financial planning needs. The Malamut Group at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office, 609-383-2010. Kirk, great to be with you this morning, my friend. Have a great day.
Kirk, good morning. Good afternoon. Good day.
That's like Jim Carrey in The Truman Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
But, Kirk hit it absolutely right with respect to energy. When you look at the S&P 500 right now, year to date, the worst performing sector is energy. And that's all as a result of the price of crude. And the fact of the matter is, we've oftentimes talked about how, companies are, obviously energy dependent, and the lower oil prices ultimately, create, savings to the bottom line, so to speak, or reduction of expenses. But I think that, we're not going to sit here and talk about any particular industry or sector of the market, but typically today's losers turn into tomorrow's winners. At least that's what we've seen, on multiple
Kirk,
occasions.
like that answer, Chuck. That Wharton School graduate that's behind your left shoulder gave a big thumbs up and a smile with that answer from the official financial advisor early in the morning.
I did not go to Wharton, but I went to a competing school that was not too far off the Wharton radar, so to speak.
I mean, Wharton School geniuses have no bias towards Cornell greats. It's not. It's all good. Kirk is laughing. See it, Kirk. Chuck, it is time for the market update.
So, Harry, it's just awfully amazing that I can't believe this is already the end of July. We have, a week left. We are in the throes of Q2 earnings. We were talking just the other day, our team, it just seems as if we are so extremely busy. I've never seen and it's all good. We're not complaining, but
I think it's because we have a very pro-capitalistic government now. Chuck, I know you don't talk about any one company, so I'll do this generically. A large company reported yesterday. You know where I'm going with this. I
know
thought
exactly
of you.
Where you're going.
I was going to reach out to you, but I thought, Chuck's doing a show tomorrow. We'll just cover it then. So this large company reports. They beat top line, they beat bottom line, and yet in overnight they got hurt. I don't understand.
If you understand, and I think what you're referring to is a company. The symbol begins with a G and ends with a G.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is that there's a potential very, very large fine that the EU has placed on them, and as a result of that, I don't want to say I guess they kind of warned about it. But
so then they're fortunate they hit top and bottom line, or they would have gotten crushed then, because they're getting hit for something prospective that may or may not happen. I predict they're never going to pay that. I don't believe they're going to have to pay anything.
Well,
it
doesn't. I think where I was a little surprised, Harry. The news was. It was nothing new. But maybe the expectations
should have been baked in, right?
Maybe the expectation was that earnings, even though they beat, might have been better. It's hard to tell, but when you look at it, we are, like I said, we are in the throes of earnings right now. Caterpillar reported this morning they beat. It seems as if for now that
isn't almost everybody beating right now. Seems.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a few that there's again in a perfect world you beat on the top and you beat on the bottom line. We're seeing more of that now than we certainly have seen over the last several years. But there are a few aberrations. I mean, we talked about the demise of retail in the brick and mortar. A lot of those stocks seem to be stuck right now. But all in all, technology, healthcare. Those particular sectors of the market seem to be, I don't want to say firing on all cylinders, Harry, but certainly are doing very, very well, far beyond, I think, anyone's expectations. Now, on the flip side, you're seeing a lot of discussion about what happened with the Trump trade, and a lot of those stocks are not performing. You had that enthusiasm that started right at the election and kind of got us ramped into the beginning of the year, and a lot of traders, so to speak, are moving off of those particular stocks, Harry, only because think about what is happening in Washington. I know that you and Kirk spent a fair amount of time talking about this today, but every day it just seems as if we're inundated with the next snippet or the next news headline that comes out. So
always negative too.
So let me ask you, Harry, the chances for a major fiscal stimulus, as we get into the latter part of this year and into next year, unfortunately, I think you might tend to agree with me here that they seem, as every day marches on, it seems more of a remote possibility of,
I know,
of
but
that
I will
happening.
tell you, though, I agree with that from the political landscape, and obviously that matters because you need to be able to count to these votes that you need, 217, 218, depending on the number. There's been a seat or two absent or vacant in the House, and then you need to be able to count to at least 50 in the Senate, and that's been challenging, especially the Senate side lately. But I have a lot of confidence in this no-nonsense former member of Congress who is the budget director, and he said yesterday in no uncertain terms, tax relief this year.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to get through, certainly. When you think about the ongoing saga, with healthcare, and where do we go and what direction. So, the Republicans last week, Harry, basically released their budget plan, authorizing, a revenue neutral approach, to tax reform. But the plan does not allow for a net tax cut, which means that we're unlikely to see a significant fiscal stimulus package that would boost the economy next year. So we're kind of
well, Marcus will not like that.
We're kind of stuck in the mud here a little bit, I think, and the fact of the matter is, it's just so painful, I think, for all of us. I mean, maybe if you are on the other, maybe if you're a staunch Democrat or whatever, you're okay with this, but I don't know anyone, Harry, at least in the world that we are in, that is not a capitalist at heart. I mean, you tell me what's wrong with making money here.
Yeah. Well, I even think the other side is privately they just have a different public policy, to be honest. Chuck, let's get our first break in. A lot more from Chuck Malamut. He's going to continue with his market update. We're going to talk about the U.S. dollar. I'm very interested to hear Chuck's take on the U.S. dollar. Improving economic data. Love the sound of that. Is the consumer back? Chuck will report. Corporate earnings, Washington update, anything else that Chuck wants to share. It's our weekly visit on Tuesday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour with the official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program, Chuck Malamut, for all of your financial planning needs. Turn to the Malamut Group. Chuck is the managing director of his team at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. 609-383-2010, 609-383-2010. This portion of Hurley in the Morning also brought to us by the Harbor Pines Golf Club, owned by the legendary Gerwicks family. They are the exclusive golf club for the Hurley in the Morning program. Let me focus on, we talk a lot about technology on this program. If you use the digital platform at harborpines.com, there are so many incredible e-specials. Don't forget to use the website for the latest e-specials, including $10 off your next round of golf. harborpines.com. You can get $1 off your next hot dog. Friday afternoon delight, a gift from the Harbor Pines Golf Club. Birdie's Burger and Beer lunch combo for $12. But these are all e-specials at harborpines.com. Physically, the physical plant, 500 St. Andrews Drive in Egg Harbor Township. If you're planning a golf outing, wedding, any type of special event, call Deb Stevenson. Deb is the only certified golf planner in all of southern New Jersey. And you can reach Deb at 609-927-0006, extension 13. Please tell the Harbor Pines Golf Club General Manager Alan Greenman, the entire team that I, Hurley in the Morning, sent you. Back with Chuck Malamut in just 2 minutes.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
If your dreams include a spring makeover, now's the perfect time to think about a home equity line of credit from Ocean First Bank. From home improvement projects to paying off debt or finally booking that dream vacation, we're offering a great low rate for your big plans.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Hi, Hi, this is Amy Keith with FlipCheapHouses.com. Our company specializes in teaching beginners how to invest in real estate with little to no financial risk. Are you determined to succeed and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to work one-on-one with a professional real estate investor for 12 months? Are you motivated and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to start a business now? With our help, in as little as 2 weeks, you can start putting deals together, flipping cheap houses. Are you ambitious and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to get a side business started for additional income? If you can give us 10 hours a week, we can show you how to flip cheap houses. If you are a beginner and want to learn how to flip cheap houses, then help me help you. Go to our website at help2017.com and watch our free webinar. That's HELP2017.com to watch our free webinar. HELP2017.com.
Hey, wake up with Harry Hurley and drive home with me, Sean Hannity, 3 to 6. It's all happening here on WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
Thanks very much. We're back 20 minutes past the hour. Chuck Malamut, our official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program. Turn to the Malamut Group for all of your financial planning needs. That's literally everything from retirement planning, college building, vacation planning, anything that involves managing your finances. Turn to Chuck and his team, the Malamut Group, 609-383-2010. Chuck, you were really in fifth gear overdrive in your market update. Please continue.
So, Harry, you wanted to, I think, shift gears here to the U.S. dollar.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say about the U.S. dollar.
I think that the King dollar hawks would be very disappointed. The fact that, one of the biggest surprises we have seen this year so far, the U.S. dollar is actually down 7%. And that, while that's unexpected, what it does help is that, remember the old Goldilocks economy that we oftentimes refer to?
Yeah, too hot, too cold.
Not too hot, not too cold. So the weaker dollar right now, Harry, is allowing looser financial conditions, stable commodity prices, sustained export growth. Because think about it, if the dollar is weak, it's less expensive for an importer to bring those goods in. We've obviously had very good improved corporate earnings, and corporate earnings not only domestic but multinational.
I want to go back to something you said. If the dollar is weak, I'm going to say you don't really consider the dollar weak. It's just down.
No,
7%.
Look,
it's a strong dollar.
In relative terms, correct.
Yeah,
but the expectation was, as we got into the beginning of the year, that the dollar would become stronger, not weaker.
So let me ask you this: is this another? And I know the Fed is not on our agenda for this morning, but I'm just going to throw it in here now. Is this one more reason that the Fed should not raise interest rates?
I mean, it's those that follow the Fed, and do you know there's a Fed meeting this week?
Sort of, but not. Yeah, it's been. It's so much going on.
It's been like the world's best kept secret.
Well, the reason I think it's a kept secret is because it's already pretty well sort of
It's
understood.
identified that there's nothing going to happen here. But what happens is the weaker dollar has actually helped absorb all the Fed rate hikes and offsets the absence of a pro growth fiscal policy. So, having a weaker dollar, Harry, is actually been good, to the equity markets. I think all of us would think, well, that's kind of counterintuitive. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at everything that's happening here, it's a weaker dollar, again, remains very, very constructive, for risk assets, equity assets, and then we think the next 12 to 18 months. And we do see the dollar, at least from a technical perspective, will rebound from these oversold conditions. But I think the fact of the matter is, Harry, that again, it's like anything else. When everybody expects one thing to happen, lo and behold, what happens typically? Usually the opposite.
Yeah.
So
contrarian.
So in this case, this is what happened to the U.S. dollar. So, and anyway, you have obviously, and again, this is not a political hour, but there's so much uncertainty. And the concern is, obviously a lot greater here in the U.S. on a relative basis, and that's been for the first time, Harry, we've seen since the financial crisis. Not to mention the central bank uncertainty with several new Fed governors.
And is anybody building into this the possibility of just some of this geopolitical insanity? Or
Yes.
Is that, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's got to be. And because when you see if an administration gets, and I know your show's not political, but this does intersect into business and into finance, and it's relevant to discuss it during your show because think about if all this Russian concussion stuff wasn't going on. I just said with Kirk Conover last hour, Chuck, 93% of every newscast on the networks and every cable newscast across all of America is on that one topic. Imagine if it was about $4 trillion is now in our economy, or 25 record highs, or another new record high for the NASDAQ on a day where the Dow was only slightly down. I mean, there's a great story to tell that's getting lost in the weeds.
Harry, when you're looking exclusively at headlines and you're really not diving deep into it, you're absolutely correct. The fact of the matter is that we're continuing to see S&P 500 companies report. And I want to get this correct, so bear with me 1 second.
Yeah.
Nearly 20% of the S&P 500 companies, this is going into yesterday, because this morning we're seeing, for the most part, very good results. Going into close of business Friday, 20% of the S&P 500 has reported. And the initial news is good. Revenues have exceeded expectations by about 1.3%. Earnings per share have beaten expectations by about 5.4%. And again, 20% does not tell the whole story, but certainly is very, very encouraging when you sit back and you watch as these companies come across with their respective earnings on any given day. And today is certainly no different than what we're seeing yesterday. I mean, for the most part, meeting or beating top line, bottom line. But I think there's so many retail investors will refer to that because of any of a number of reasons just could not, did not, or just flat out refused to participate back in the equity markets. And Kirk nailed it absolutely correctly with his date in 2009 when, I guess a half a loaf is better than nothing. That was what a lot of people were thinking about. But now, what has that half a loaf turned into?
Exactly. Now, we've been doing this so long, we obviously long before this Great Recession, decade plus before the Great Recession, decade and a half plus before the Great Recession, we were doing your show. But we were seeing on a regular basis companies, good companies actually, that weren't hitting, clearly weren't hitting bottom line. Most weren't hitting top line. Then they started to hit top line because they made cuts and they did what they needed to do to contract or do whatever was required. So then they started to more consistently hit top line, but still weren't hitting bottom line. And now we're seeing both bottom line and top line hit. So to me, the growth is just, it's self-evident. It's undeniable.
I'm going to reverse that just a little bit. The bottom line beats happened before a lot of the revenue got adjusted in an upward
Correct.
fashion.
I said it opposite.
I think I know what you meant.
I meant bottom line because of the cuts.
Correct.
Yes.
So now we are at a point in time where we are clearly not dependent upon so much in reduction, although any CEO and CFO and board of directors has a responsibility to their shareholders, and if it's necessary to make cuts to become a better smoother, leaner machine, so to speak, it's going to happen. And and a lot of that is due to the advances of obviously within technology. I mean, Harry, you think about what you do on a day-to-day basis. I know that I oftentimes chuckle a little bit when you say to your listeners, "Well, I'm going to mark this down on my day timer."
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that company basically, there's a lot of day timer.
And I'm not lying, am I, Chuck?
No, you're not.
I'm holding my book up right now to Chuck.
But there was a company that I'll remain nameless because we don't talk about companies. They basically went out of business because everyone is now moved over off the date. A lot off of the paper, onto a more digital platform.
Yeah, I will say, and I'm coming along. I am sort of doing both, but for some reason, Chuck, and I don't know what it is because you know me, I am willing to embrace technology and I am able to use the technology. But there's something about my daytime.
Well, you like to have it. You have it's that security blanket. And the good thing is with the day timer, with the paper, it's a lot. If you need to go find a date or a time or a meeting, oftentimes it seems a little easier to kind of flip through the pages than to kind of go, do it digitally.
And I know you didn't say the name of the one you used to use. I used to like it. I looked at it very closely because a lot of things you did, I emulated. But I never went to the big, I'll just call it the Big Ben, the Ben planner that you had. I won't say the last name. He wore spectacles. But I like the senior coach size day timer.
So maybe Harry, one of your
could answer a trivia question.
To do bucket lists. I want
to
get accomplished. Maybe I can get you off of the paper at some point in time.
It can happen.
But the point that I was trying to make is that all of us in our personal lives, in our work lives, are so dependent on technology, and it's just. And it happens with us, and it happens with you, and it happens with everyone. Your technology, for some odd reason, is not working, and then you just feel very, very naked. That you can't get to the information that you so desperately need. You know where it is, you know how to get there, but you just can't get it.
And in my case, Chuck, and you're saying you're appointment driven. I need to know who's coming on tomorrow and what time. And numbers and all kinds of different things. Am I calling them? Are they calling me? I would say right now, we're going to get our halftime break in. It's 32 minutes past the hour with our official financial advisor early in the morning, Chuck Malamut. I'm about maybe a third of the way there. Like I'll show you during the break. I have started to use, it is easy. I've started to use my iPhone and the planner. And it really is a very good program because, for example, if somebody sends you something, an email, and it has a phone number or an address, your iPhone immediately gives you the opportunity to create a contact. You don't have to do anything. And it'll have the phone number, it'll have the fax number, and if it sees an appointment time, it'll create the appointment and name it and put it right in your iPhone. So I am starting to use it as sort of redundancy. I have both going.
Same thing. You book airfare, book hotel reservations.
I can show you,
and everything just populates
it has
into
my
your calendar.
Confirmation number. Exactly.
Everything's good unless the address for the hotel that you're going to
is different.
A relatively new hotel that just opened in the middle of a remote location. Somehow or another, the address is not correct,
right?
And you end up in around 12, about 1 a.m. and almost going down some remote road that you know you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Not a great feeling for sure.
Chuck Malamut is here. We'll be right back. Don't go away. 33 minutes past the hour.
Who's the most listened to afternoon talk show host in South Jersey? It's Sean Hannity on WPG Talk Radio 104.1. Sean tells it like it is.
I'm so sick of the media. They're basically all opinion now. And their opinion is they hate Donald Trump. They're throwing every bit of paper against the wall, hoping something sticks.
South Jersey's #1 afternoon talk show host is Sean Hannity. Weekdays 3 to 6 on WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
This is Harry Hurley, and I'm with the Mayor, Charles Kane, owner and operator of the Auto Plaza, Egg Harbor Township. Mayor, tell your listeners who are looking for a car, why should they choose the Auto Plaza?
Harry, it's our full-service department, selection, and hassle-free financing alternatives that have set us apart for over 17 years. Over the years, we've been the recipient of many sales and service awards, as well as receiving an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. It's been a real honor for us. We are now serving a second generation of sales and service customers. Stop in today. You're going to love our staff and experience what makes us different.
For all of your automobile service, parts, and sales needs, call the Auto Plaza at 609-646-2447. That's 609-646-2447. And visit us on the World Wide Web at myautoplaza.com.
The Auto Plaza at English Creek. Roll with Mr. Tire.
A few years ago, my wife and I went shopping for amazing quality luxury bedding we could actually afford. And what did we find? Nothing. Hi, I'm Scott Tannen. Missy and I started Bull & Branch because we want you to be able to afford the best bedding in the world. By cutting out the middlemen and only selling online at bullandbranch.com, our award-winning sheets cost less than half of designer brands and are twice the quality. Every set is crafted from 100% organic cotton. They get softer and softer over time. That's why we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and even 3 U.S. presidents have Bull & Branch sheets. There's no risk. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bullandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping when you use promo code SLEEP. That's $50 off, plus free shipping right now at bullandbranch.com. Promo code SLEEP. bullandbranch.com spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. Promo code SLEEP.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Atlantic City? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Atlantic City area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Atlantic City is a perfect market for my system, and next week, I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, call 1-800-505-4300. Seating is extremely limited. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. That's 1-800-505-4300. That's 1-800-505-4300.
Results will vary. Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000 in personal or business taxes and you can't afford to pay? You have the right to fast IRS tax relief. Join satisfied clients like Victoria. She owed the IRS $32,000. They accepted $300. She saved $31,700. Leroy owed $21,000. The IRS accepted $500, and he saved $20,500. Get fast IRS tax relief and save too. Call 800-581-3990. Has the IRS threatened to shut down your business, freeze your bank accounts, take your home, your cars, or garnish your wages? You may qualify for special programs to stop this process. Get fast IRS tax relief. The industry experts with negotiating with the IRS with an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call today and the IRS will be contacted the same day, putting a stop to bank levies and wage garnishments. Call the Fast IRS Tax Relief Hotline at 800-581-3990. 800-581-3990. That's 800-581-3990.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade. Join me next at 10, then Sean Hannity at 3. Now back to Harry Hurley on WPG Talk Radio, 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
We're back 38 minutes past the hour. You're listening to Chuck Malamut, and Chuck visits with us weekly. His program Tuesday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour, all about your financial matters. 609-383-2010 is the number to reach the Malamut Group at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. Chuck, I'm gonna pose this question in the affirmative because listening to you each and every week, it seems apparent to me that we have improving economic data. Yes?
We do, Harry, and what is happening? You know, we as you remember, we sort of had that soft patch where, you know, not too long ago, and the most recent economic data that we're seeing is now trending in a more positive direction. So, you had several key economic reports that came in June that were soft, including remember subpar retail sales. I mean, everybody was jumping up and down that every mall in America was going to close. Confidence in the home building industry was also off, and a worse than expected reading from the Empire Manufacturing Index, which basically measures businesses that produce goods and services. But the data that we saw last week, came in stronger than expected. We saw solid housing starts. We saw really good news on unemployment claims and a solid 0.6% increase in the index of leading economic indicators. So all of that is suggesting, Harry, that growth should accelerate as we get into the second half of 2017. The other thing that happened, and I'm going to kind of go back here to earnings for a second, the banking sector, in particular, has shown a lot of strength. So the country's largest 5 banks all posted results that impressively beat expectations, for the quarter. And if financials work, then it should be very, very positive for the rest of the market and the economy.
Chuck, let me ask you a question about retail. I don't know this to be true, but I suspect it could be true. You'll know the answer to it. I'm not quite sure. I have my suspicions because of, I'll call them bricks and sticks or bricks and mortar. Most people, I don't know about you guys, you and Pam and everybody, but I shop more and more. Amazon.com, Walmart.com. It's easy. Shipping's free. Returns are free. It's very convenient. You can even buy clothes because if it doesn't fit, they have the same bag. They have creatively where you just put it right back in and out you go. And then they send, this runs small, so I need the extra large. Oh, it runs big, I need a large. So boom, away you go. Sometimes I even order one of each and I send one back. So going to the store anymore, I think for more and more Americans, and I would have to think for millennials and youngers, that going to the mall isn't like it was when we were. Have financial reporting numbers kept up with the e-commerce as it relates to the total what should be retail outlook, as opposed to saying that some mall is having a bad quarter because nobody goes there anymore because you don't have to?
No, I think, Harry, the numbers speak for themselves. When you break away your online presence versus your brick and mortar, it's all a matter of what gets reported, how it gets reported, and what the profit margins are at the end of the day.
But is it accurate, though? I always thought the e-commerce gets shortchanged.
No, I think, Harry, it's certainly a lot more proactive, productive numbering that we see today versus where we were several years ago. Because you think about, a lot of the retailers, are proud to have the online presence because the customers are not getting into the stores. Now, I think Harry, what suffered even more than the retailers were the REITs, the real estate investment trusts that owned shopping centers, for instance. They're having a very, very difficult time. Versus where, they were a couple of years ago. But you're going to continue to see this shift. But I think there's a lot to be said, Harry, about actually going and having that experience of just sort of getting into a store and browsing and looking and shopping. And I don't think it's going to go away.
I didn't say it was going to go away, but fewer and fewer people do it, though.
They do.
I'm going to suspect you don't shop that way.
We shop both ways,
okay.
And it depends upon what you're shopping for. I mean, there's, if there's something that I know that I like, that I use, and I know the size, I can go do that online, and I think a lot of your listeners will do that.
I mean, if I'm going to get a nice suit, Chuck, I will go to a store where if it's either custom or if it needs alterations, if it's one off the rack, and that I will do. But for example, my dress shirts, I don't go to a store. We used to you and I drove to Philadelphia.
I remember.
To the custom shirt shop, and it was fantastic. Now I get them in the mail with my 3 wonderful letters, HRH, His Royal Highness, on my cuff. and I know exactly what size neck, exactly what size shirt I want, and I don't have to go spend that time. We can be more productive. What I'm saying is, for me as a consumer, almost everything I do now, I don't even go to the big box stores. Margie and I used to go every Sunday morning to Sam's. We still go, but not nearly as much because we can do so much now. Amazon has Amazon Food. You can get things delivered. I think it's freeing up productivity, and it's very convenient. And the service is so good that even if something's wrong, they make good. That I think fewer and fewer people are going to go to bricks and mortar stores.
I tend to agree with you, and you know, your children and my children, their tendencies, and you can see it obviously in the way they run their lives. All technology driven.
Amazon Prime.
It's just amazing. You know, we're kind of the dinosaurs now, Harry, and we watch the way that whole generation operates and communicates, and you know, individually and in meetings. It's actually kind of inspiring, because if you are able to free up time and use that time in a more of a productive manner, I think technology is a wonderful tool.
Exactly.
But it can also be counterproductive, because, as you know, we all have a tendency to stray a little bit. You know, oh my goodness, who sent me that text message? What's happening? What do I need to know? It's like
second by second, vicarious.
And that gets you off your track sometimes.
What about this, Chuck? What about in the not too distant future, 50% of all jobs that exist today will not exist anymore because robots and technology will be doing them?
that you know, look, we are on the tail end of our careers, so to speak. You know, those that are entering the workforce, those are the people that need to really clearly make certain that they have the right skill sets, you know, to operate in today's economy versus where the economy was even a decade ago.
And try to really be proactive to select something that is going to be around versus starting a career in, I'll just use this term, not in the worst sense, but not joining a dying industry, where you could maybe be 5 or 10 years into a career and then find yourself, you know, at a certain age, middle age maybe at that point, and you would need, like you're saying, Chuck, you would need the technology skill sets or whatever it would be to be able to transition from something that no longer exists.
But look, there's still obviously a need in today's world, you know, for, you know, us, you know, someone that's thinking intuitively at their job, whether they're in a manufacturing plant or in the financial services industry or in the broadcast business. I mean, that's not going to go away, Harry.
Not all of it, but look, there are a lot of music stations that are automated. I told you before, and you know it on your own, and I follow this kind of stuff very, very closely in Japan and even here in America. There are going to be, and there are hotels where there are no front desk agents, there are no housekeeping attendants. It's all done by robots. You know, when you go away now anymore, you don't even really need to see a front desk agent. If you go to Disney World, for example, you have a band. Mm-hmm. They turn it on, they send you a text. And they say your room is ready.
Everything's great when it works.
When it works, but I will say for me, where I vacation, it always works, and if it doesn't, you make one stop, and then they reprogram it, and then it works then. And what's happening, though, is all these jobs, Chuck, that you and I used to oversee, one by one, they're not going to exist.
Maybe my experience with technology, as I mentioned to you, going down the road with the GPS that takes you to a location doesn't exist. I went to get my digital key at the hotel when I checked in, and unfortunately, the digital key didn't work as well. So
it happens.
Maybe I just was having a bad
technology
evening.
Day. Bad technology day. Chuck, I know you're already on overtime. We didn't get. I would like to address the issue: is the consumer back? Because I hope you're going to say yes.
Yeah, the consumer is back. I mean, despite, you know, we kind of just really chat about this. You know, despite some fears as far as to the contrary, the consumer sector of the economy still remains in pretty good shape. You know, auto sales have slowed. Overall consumer activity remains, you know, pretty respectable at this point in time. I'm a little concerned, and so are you, about credit card debt levels.
Oh.
They continue to grow. For the most part, interest rates remain relatively low. The labor market is, in fact, improving. All of that is suggesting that consumer spending should continue to grow. I'm going to put a big exclamation mark on debt because, debt can be your friend, and it can be absolutely detrimental if you don't handle it correctly. And if you get out of control, then you know what the outcome is going to be.
Let me ask you a question I've never asked you before on your show. What percentage of debt, you say you have, we'll just make it easy, you have $10,000 worth of credit lines on your various credit cards. What percent debt to equity would you like to see as someone's financial advisor?
Well, Harry, as we approach it a little bit differently. We approach it as to what the potential need is as far as the expenses. For instance, if you have, it's not hard to figure out. I mean, if you have, a tremendous amount of debt and you're barely, getting by, to get to that retirement is going to be very, very challenging. But respectable amount of debt, because debt can in fact be your friend. I mean, if oftentimes you can leverage that debt in a positive fashion. Let's say, you wanted to buy a piece of real estate and you thought it was absolutely the right thing to do. There's absolutely nothing wrong if you can handle the debt to take on the debt.
That's a good point.
Rates are still, relatively speaking, low on a comparative basis to where we were, say, a decade ago. And if the possibility of that real estate appreciating, then in fact you made a good decision. Perfect case in point. I know you and Kirk talked about it the last hour. The article I did not see, but I will read.
I'm going to text it to you right now.
It sounded like it was nothing short of awful. But the bottom line is that, even though we still have a number of short sales and foreclosures in the voodoo homes here in Atlantic County, it seems as if we have sort of right-sized ourselves. And, there might be an opportunity here where you can go in and buy something, it's pretty inexpensive.
By the way, just to celebrate technology, that quickly, and I heard the little chime. You may not have heard it, but I'm wearing a headset. It magnifies. That quickly, Chuck has the article from Business Insider. It just trashes Atlantic City in such a specious way. But what I was thinking about is, years ago, I would have had to mail that article to Chuck. He'd get it in 3 days, 2 days, and then we might talk about it by phone or the next time we saw each other. Then the fax machine comes out, and you could fax it to someone. Then scanners and the ability to do it instantly. And now, bam, he had it literally in 5 seconds. It is truly a incredible piece. I might talk about it a little bit more in the next hour. But in short, basically what they did was they used old news, fake news, and they even cited that Hard Rock made a bad purchase, Chuck, because by the year 2100 we may be underwater. It's just insane that somebody would put that and it's under the heading finance, which usually, as you know, Chuck, unless you're talking about some wackadoo on some of those goofy channels, that's usually dispassionate people that talk about facts. This isn't that. When you read it,
it'll be interesting to read, and I'm sure as quickly as I read, it'll end up in the trash can.
It's hilarious.
But look, so we're in the dog days of summer, but like I said, it's just so incredible how busy all of us have been.
Yeah.
Look, the equity markets, as long as earnings improve, equities should continue to advance. I mean, there's the doomsdayers saying, well, equities are all-time highs. We're not going, we've never seen these numbers. That they're not going to continue. There's obviously a lot of uncertainty around policy in Washington and outside of this country, and how that monetary policy might be tightening maybe a little prematurely. Liquidity is obviously a concern, but liquidity is there right now. And the gridlock that we've talked about in Washington continues. It's just amazing, Harry. The Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, but and nothing of any significance economically.
The shame is they really don't control the Senate. You don't have 50 or 51 out of the 52. There's so many different ideologies that they really don't have a working majority.
Right. So
they have a majority in name only.
So, obviously the lack of the stimulus, fiscal stimulus, has been disappointing, but it does come with a silver lining. So we're unlikely to see, going forward, Harry, any significant or sharp increases with respect to interest rates or as we talked about, the U.S. dollar. So, the lost opportunity on the political front might end up being somewhat ironic, effect of prolonging the bull market that we're in. So only time will tell. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.
I look forward to it, too. It's always great to be with you, my brother. Now, for all of your financial planning needs, it's as simple as this. Do as I do, not as I say. Turn to Chuck and his group, the Malamut Group. He's the managing director. You'll be in the best of hands. All of your financial planning needs. Chuck's Morgan Stanley Northfield, New Jersey office is 609-383-2010. We're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we have a wide open forum 9 o'clock hour that will begin in just a few minutes.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Deborah Heart and Lung Center. For compassionate care, demand Deborah.
No matter how good salty snacks might taste, we all know too much salt isn't good for our health. General sodium guidelines say not to exceed 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. Guess what that's equivalent to? 1 teaspoon of salt. And it should be less for people with high blood pressure, fluid retention, and heart disease. But that's not just the salt we shake on our food. Sodium is also high in some foods that don't even taste salty, like milk products or baked goods. The worst offenders? Packaged meals, frozen entrees, and canned goods. Reading food labels is a great way to track sodium intake. Make sure sodium content is less than 140 milligrams per serving. Your best bet? Use fresh foods and produce. Avoid canned and packaged foods, and shake the salt habit. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Deborah Heart and Lung Center. For compassionate care, demand Deborah.
A few years ago, my wife and I went shopping for amazing quality luxury bedding we could actually afford. And what did we find? Nothing. Hi, I'm Scott Tannen. Missy and I started Bull & Branch because we want you to be able to afford the best bedding in the world. By cutting out the middlemen and only selling online at bullandbranch.com, our award-winning sheets cost less than half of designer brands and are twice the quality. Every set is crafted from 100% organic cotton. They get softer and softer over time. That's why we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and even 3 U.S. presidents have Bull & Branch sheets. There's no risk. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bullandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping when you use promo code SLEEP. That's $50 off, plus free shipping right now at bullandbranch.com. Promo code SLEEP. bullandbranch.com, spelled BOLL, and branch.com. Promo code SLEEP.
Paul D'Amato.
Harry Hurley.
Paul, I know our listeners want to know what's new with the D'Amato Law Firm.
Things are great, Harry. We are so privileged to represent our clients whose lives have been turned upside down because they were involved in a serious accident. We meet on a regular basis. We copy our clients on all our correspondence so they always know what's going on with their case. We try to treat them like family. We have Alexa here, my daughter. I'm so happy that she's here. We have Steve Van Natten and Casey Gifford. We're a great legal team.
They're the D'Amato Law Firm for all of your personal injury legal needs. Turn to the official lead counsel to the Hurley in the Morning program for more than a quarter of a century. The D'Amato Law Firm in Egg Harbor Township, 609-926-3300. That's 609-926-3300. Tell Paul, Alexa, Sandy, the entire team that Hurley in the Morning sent you.
Here at Town Square Media, we're not your average radio group. From web design to e-commerce to social media and the latest in mobile technology, we employ an arsenal of services to help our clients build their businesses. But we can't do it without a dedicated sales staff. We're experiencing record growth, and we're looking for seasoned sales professionals with drive and determination to help us grow even more. We offer an excellent base salary with high commission rates, an unlimited earning potential, and full benefits. Plus, we offer major market experience without the major market commute. At Town Square Media, you'll get the opportunity to make a real difference to thousands of local businesses, and you'll have a lot of fun along the way. If you're an experienced salesperson with a proven track record of success, then Town Square Media might have an opportunity for you. To learn more about outside sales opportunities, contact Mike Rubel, Market Manager, at 609-645-9797. That's 609-645-9797. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer. 609-645-9797.
Thanks very much. Welcome back. We will be just stepping aside for a few minutes. Fox News update. Let me see. I'm going to make a prediction. It's not a Pocket Kreskin moment presented by Shore Agency, but they'll lead with Senator McCain because this is a great story that's going to be happening later today. I believe the votes are barely there. We'll see. It's so close that it's hard to say because when I heard 2 or 3 of the female senators, pretty much from the Northeast and Alaska, say they're just even opposed to the procedural vote. But Senator McCain triumphantly coming back to Washington, D.C. after having a malignant brain tumor and a blood clot removed, and before he even has his full treatment regimen set up, coming in, it's warrior stuff.
104.1 WPGG Atlantic City, WSJO 104.9 HD2 Egg Harbor City. Everything you need to know in 6 minutes starts now.
Will the president fire a member of his cabinet? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Right now, Attorney General Sessions is the Attorney General, and I haven't been part of any conversations discussing potential replacements.
But the AP reports President Trump has talked to advisors about the possibility of firing Sessions. Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says the president remains disappointed Sessions recused himself in the Russia campaign meddling probe he calls a witch hunt.
That frustration